Hi, my name is Cindy Mattalucci, and you're watching The Pulse, where we get the 411 on all the latest and greatest things to do in this amazing city, San Diego. From the newest bars and restaurants to the chicest boutiques, to the gyms and the trainers that are getting the people of this city buff 365 days a year, to the place you want to go to get your spa on. I'm exploring it all for you, and of course, having fun along the way. So come with me while we put our finger on the pulse of San Diego. This episode of The Pulse was brought to you by Urban Skincare. Since 2002, Urban Skincare has provided their clients with a luxurious spa experience in a contemporary setting. Founders Aaron and Larissa provide top quality service and a commitment to excellent holistic care. At their full-service spa, they offer everything from facials to custom spray tanning. For more information on Urban Skincare, you can go to urbanskincare.com. On today's episode, we spend the day with Johan Engman, founder and owner of Rise and Shine Restaurant Group. We sit down with Johan to find out how he's building a breakfast empire and take you inside some of his fabulous establishments. We then sit down in studio with sales expert, speaker, and author of The Grass is Browner on the Other Side, Jon Markwardt. We find out why this is not your typical sales book and why every entrepreneur needs a copy of this. We end our show on location at the Springhill Suites by Marriott in Oceanside for DJ Mandy Mixes Back to Old School Dance Party. We show you the decor in this hotel and why you need Mandy to mix up the music at your next event. Johan Engman opened his first restaurant, Fig Tree Cafe, in 2008. And 8 years later, he now owns and operates 3 successful branches in Pacific Beach, Hillcrest, and Liberty Station. He also owns and operates Breakfast Republic in North Park and Liberty Station. He recently opened Como Ceviche in the East Village. We show you how unique his concepts are and try out some of the signature dishes just for you. Hi, I'm Cindy Mattalucci with The Pulse. We're here at Breakfast Republic. I'm with Johan Engman, CEO and founder of Rise and Shine Group. How are you?
Fantastic, how are you?
I'm doing so well. So Rise and Shine Group, I mean, you have such a great story. We've got to talk about it. When you were living in Sweden until you were 16, and you were actually in the restaurant industry at a young age as a dishwasher.
Yeah, so I moved around 16 with my mom, and I moved out on my own when I was 17 and needed to pay rent. So I got a job as a dishwasher, and after a couple of years a busboy, then a server, and so on, and started saving money and opened my first place when I was 27 on just a shoestring budget. It was what now is Fig Tree Cafe in Pacific Beach.
So I love how you put a unique twist on every location that you have. Let's talk a little bit about your brand and your inspiration for each one.
I think it's so important to stay innovative. With Breakfast Republic, a lot of that comes from, I'd say, what I learned with Fig Tree, being, the importance of, simplifying things, I think. At Breakfast Republic, all we do is breakfast, and there's a reason, because I want people to be able to identify with that. So our mission was just, look, let's do breakfast, and let's do the best breakfast we possibly can, and not try to do all this other stuff. And I think that speaks for a lot of businesses. I think if you focus on 1 or 2 things and do them right, then you're pretty far ahead in the game.
Well, what about the culture? I know that you really breed a great culture with your brand and your group and the employees that work for you. Let's talk a little bit about what you promote internally.
Sure. I'm a huge fan of traveling. There's a lot of inspiration taken from that for design, for menu items, etc. A lot of the people that work for Rise and Shine have the same love for traveling, and one, I think it would be pretty hypocritical for me to say, hey, I'm going to go traveling. My goal is to travel 2-3 months next year, but you can only take 7 days. That's ridiculous. I think, to foster a good culture, one, you have to, breathe it and just be that kind of person, right? So I think, passing that on to all my employees is important. And again, any other way of running it just doesn't seem right or make sense to me.
So let's talk a little bit about the charity aspect, because I know there's a giving back. I know you really like giving back with Wounded Warriors. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. That's something that started years ago at Fig Tree Cafe, where we created one dish and donated $1 to a certain organization, and then that fostered into every location, and then Breakfast Republic. And now we do a yearly Christmas dinner on Christmas Day where we basically invite, last year was 250 people, this year it's going to be 500 people. It's our 6th yearly one coming up. Wounded warriors, along with a number of other veterans that may not have the financial means or just the ability to maybe go home and visit their family. So we provide a gourmet dinner including, you know, all the food you could eat, wine, beer, everything completely complimentary. So it became kind of a community event where I started reaching out to other restaurants to see if they wanted to participate. Either it's donating a brisket or a salad. Reached out to vendors saying, can you donate bread? Can you donate coffee and whatnot? And that sort of transitions into it becoming more of a scalable event. It's fun, it's such a feel-good thing.
What would you say really sets your brand apart?
There's a number of things. I think there's a very high emphasis on design, and I want things to be memorable. If I look back at some of the most memorable dining experiences I've had, a lot of times my memory might be, you know, a great server or just a cool design or something like that. It's not always the food. That's a key component, but a lot of other things play in too.
I love that. Well, so where do you see Rise and Shine Group going? Where do you want to take the brand?
This next year, there's 3 more brands that are coming. It's a pizza restaurant, a Mexican place, and actually one more breakfast restaurant as well. In addition to the Como Ceviche that was just recently opened, that I want to open a few more restaurants with that fast casual style as well.
I love that. So you've got breakfast lockdown, he's building a breakfast empire, then you've got ceviche, then you're going to be going into pizza and Mexican. So we have a lot to look forward to.
And there's, I'm building a small hotel.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just going to be a 5-room thing, but it'll be actually next to Breakfast Republic in North Park. So you stay at the hotel, you have breakfast included next door. That's about 1.5 years, 2 years out, but I just like doing projects, right? As long as it's fun, I want to keep doing it, and being able to stay innovative and, you know, having that sort of creativeness stay at a high level all the time, then that to me is what's fun.
We're here at Fig Tree Cafe in Liberty Station. I'm here with owner Johan Engman. How are you?
Fantastic, how are you?
So glad to be here. We love this place.
Thank you.
Now, this was your original baby. Talk to us about the concept with Fig Tree.
Yeah, so the Fig Tree in Pacific Beach was the very first one. Kind of a funny story behind it. So at that location, there's 3 or 4 ficus trees around the property. I didn't like the sound of Ficus Tree Cafe, so I planted 5 fig trees and called it Fig Tree Cafe.
I love that, and it's a theme, and you have 3 locations.
Yes.
PD.
Here at Liberty Station, Point Loma, and then Hillcrest.
Perfect. And so what can guests expect when they come in here? What would you say?
It's a fun environment. All the locations have patios that are dog friendly, so you can bring your pooches on weekends or weekdays whenever you want. We have breakfast and lunch. We have an array of items, everything from French toast to pancakes to sandwiches, salads. It's a nice variety on the menu.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your signature items. Talk to me about what the customers can't get enough of.
I would say our stuffed French toast. It's got mascarpone cheese, which is a dessert cheese. It's got strawberries. We also have a item that we call Monterey Scramble, which is a scramble with bacon, cheese, obviously our house potatoes that are fantastic. And probably our most standout dish is our breakfast sushi.
Oh, wow.
Which doesn't have seafood in it. What it is we take rice and saute it with green onion and egg, and then we take it, sort of place it in a cylinder and wrap it with what we call our man candy, which is thick cut bacon that's been marinated and baked with paprika and brown sugar. It's fantastic.
Perfect. And then any signature drinks or anything like that that the customers would want to try when they come in?
Of course. We have actually great antioxidants. We have mimosas. We have, we call it a ginger fig mule. So it's a mule that has figs muddled in it and also made with actually a ginger kombucha.
So talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you do here, because I heard that you get your eggs from a place in Ramona. So you're using the community to get your eggs. Yeah,
so it's a family-owned ranch. It's all natural, and we definitely pay a big premium for the eggs, but I think it's so important to keep your food quality at a high level and just stay consistent on that. So that's something we've never deviated from, even as egg prices have continuously gone up over the years.
Thank you so much, Johan.
Thanks.
For more information on Rise and Shine Group, you can go to riseandshinerg.com. When we come back, we're in studio with Jon Markwardt. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, we're here live at Bankers Hill with The Pulse, and we are here with our sponsors. I'm so excited to introduce you to Aaron and Larissa, owners of Urban Skincare. They've got 15 years of industry experience, and they're gonna be talking about skincare tips, trends, and what you need on our show once a quarter. Hey ladies. So ladies, for the viewers that don't know a lot about skincare, would you share a tip for us? What can they do to take care of their skin?
Sure, we have a couple tips for you today. One is application of your product. It's super important to go ahead and apply your serums and moisturizers to the tips of your fingers, and then you're going to go ahead and apply that to your skin directly. The reason for this is because the palm of your hands will absorb the product very fast, and this also conserves your product as well. The other tip that we have for you today is our triple factor protection. This SPF is one of those non-negotiable products. You need to have this on your skin. It's protecting your skin from environmental stresses as well as UVA and UVB. It's also stimulating collagen growth. It's helping to protect any damaged proteins that have been done to the cells, and it's repairing DNA damage as well.
So what's the SPF on this?
This is a broad spectrum 50. It also has a little bit of a sheer tint to it, so it will give you that extra protection with the zinc and titanium oxide in it. That's where you're getting that color from, that mineral color.
I love that tint, and you need that, especially in Southern California. So you heard it here first on The Pulse, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much, ladies.
Bye, thank you.
I was given an advanced copy of Jon Markwart's book, The Grass is Browner on the Other Side. And I have to say, coming from a person with a sales and marketing background, I was skeptical that this might be just another sales book. I was wrong. I was pleasantly surprised by how Jon acts out elite sales concepts on the island of Cyprus, where he was literally a traveling salesman for the purpose of writing this book. Hi, I'm Cindy Mattalucci, and you're watching The Pulse. I'm here with Jon Markwardt, sales expert, speaker, and author of The Grass is Browner on the Other Side. How are you, Jon?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm such a fan of the book. Now, before we talk about your book, I want you to tell the viewers a little bit about your background, because you worked in sales and management for 2 Fortune 1000 companies.
This is correct, and we actually worked together way back in the day. So, it's been a long time in sales and sales leadership positions where I'd always wanted to write this book. But when I got recruited to go to a Silicon Valley company was when it really became apparent that this is what I wanted to do. We were hiring millennials, and millennials are really smart, but they're playing on their phone while they're researching on their computer, and they're talking to their neighbor next door. So they're doing a lot all at once. And I created a library where I was trying to get them to read the books that I grew up on in sales, and they couldn't read the books. They'd make it 2-3 chapters and they were bored. So I wanted to do something different, and I quit my executive position and I moved to the island of Cyprus, and I decided that I was going to act out all my sales concepts through adventure travel.
Well, and I have to endorse Jon because we worked together at Paychex. He came into the company, the first year was Rookie of the Year out of 2,500 sales reps. I mean, killed it. You've had an amazing career. So you really have a lot to talk about when it comes to sales. But what I kind of want to talk to the viewers about is, how did you make that segue into being an author?
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. And the thing about the book is it's also kind of a self-help book. And the first concept of sales is you got to sell yourself on yourself. And whatever you're doing out there, no matter what it is, whether it's sales, management, leadership, maybe you're a nurse or a police officer, it really doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing, you need to find what you like and what you enjoy and concentrate on that. What I found at Paychex when I was doing sales is I enjoyed coaching people more than I enjoyed selling.
Well, and let's talk about Cyprus, because not everybody can just quit and go to Cyprus to write a book, but the experience must have been fabulous for you. I mean, you were literally like a traveling salesman. So let's talk about that.
So first of all, everybody thought I was nuts. You know, you've got a nice paid position where you're an executive of a company, you've kind of worked your entire career to get there, and I decided I was going to quit this job to become a writer, and I was not an English major. So before I left, I knew how I was going to write the book. I knew the concepts that were in the book. I had all the chapters. It was really just a matter of putting it together.
And now I want to kind of dive into the book because it's not your typical sales book. When I got my hands on a copy, I was like, oh, you know, like you said, is this going to be a boring sales book? Is it going to keep my attention? But let's talk about how you act out the principles with the book.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So it is interesting, and I call it accidental learning. That's my phrase that I've kind of coined, because part of why I really decided this was the right thing for me to do is as I was coaching people in Silicon Valley, one by one, they said, you know, no one's ever coached me like this. This is so different. And I would always be taking some goofy, random story that they were excited about, and I was applying the sales concept, but they didn't really know where I was going to apply the sales concept, and they accidentally learned along the way. And that worked really well with millennials. So I thought, all right, I'll do this with my travel concepts. So I actually teach, you know, networking on a bus and jumping off of a cliff. And then I teach cold calling on a beach. And it's a different way of learning where you're kind of entertained, distracted by my story, and then I bring in the sales concept later. So
let's talk a little bit about the illustrations in the book. Phenomenal, because they were from a Cyprus artist.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah, so as a local artist, her name is Penelope Constantino, and she was someone I met along my travels, and she had some amazing paintings, and I just got to talking to her and telling her my story. I ended up coaching her on her business, and it became one of the chapters. And I thought, how cool would it be to get all of my illustrations done and make it a part of my Cyprus adventures?
Well, and I really like the point, there is sales in everything that we do. I mean, you mentioned that earlier, and I think it's really important whether you're in hospitality, you're a waitress, whatever you're doing, you're always selling. So I wanted to see if you could maybe give a tip to the viewers, something that, you know, from the book that they could put into their life today to make an impact.
Yeah, so I think because we're always selling, the one thing that I really enjoy talking about is the millennial generation. And in some ways, I'm giving a sales pitch to the millennials out there that might not be taking their careers seriously. And what I mean by that is I think we have an epidemic in the US, and it's the grass is greener concept. It's where the title of my book comes from. We're constantly thinking the grass is greener. So we might work, you know, and I'm part of the millennial generation, but the millennial generation might work 6 months at a job and be looking for the next best thing. Because the problem that occurs is you don't get to truly water your own grass. The grass is browner on the other side. It's a sales pitch of making your grass green. Water your grass. So the biggest tip I can give for the millennials out there, here's the minimum. I'm not asking hire to retire. I'm asking a minimum of 1 year. If you do a minimum of 1 year in every career opportunity you take, you'll achieve success.
So I love too that your true passion is sharing your sales practices through writing and motivational speaking. So let's talk a little bit about that, because you actually speak to viewers and to audiences. I was at a conference and this guy came up to me and he said, "Hey John, can I buy you a beer?" Which the obvious answer is, of course, yes. So I said yes, and we walked over to the bar and he said, "You know, John, you probably don't remember me, but you were flown into Rochester, New York to coach our class, and the very first thing you said is that if we followed exactly what you planned out for us, that we would be at this conference trip with you." And he said, "You know, I like what you had to say, and I just decided right then and there I was going to follow everything you said over the next 2 days." What it taught me back then is it taught me I don't need to reach everyone. If I reach one person, if one person watching says, "You know what, sticking out my job for 1 year is a good concept," and that helps them, and it helps effectively change their career path, that's exciting for me to be on this show today. Well, and something that I took out of the book, and I know you and I have had these conversations, is entrepreneurs wear so many hats and they kind of forget that at the end of the day they need to bring in revenue for their business. It's so important. I mean, I've been guilty of that, and I took that tip out of your book. I thought that was really great, and I think that, you know, a lot of viewers can learn a lot from that. And you need to get a copy of this book, so tell everybody where to get their hands on this or to hire you if they want you to speak. Yeah, if you go to grassisbrowner.com, you can buy the book there, and you can reach out to me there as well
to hire me for any speaking events that you have for your company or any sort of speaking event where you'd like to bring me and get me involved.
And the book is on Amazon as well, but go to grassisbrowner.com. Thank you so much, Jon. You were awesome to be in studio today, and we had such a great time. For more information on Jon and how to get your hands on his book, you can go to grassisbrowner.com. His book is also available at Amazon. Don't touch that dial, because when we come back, we're on the scene at Salvation Army's 51st Annual Women of Dedication Luncheon. Welcome back to The Pulse. I'm your host, Cindy Matalucci. Now it's time for our Pulse on the Scene segment, where we take you inside the best events in San Diego. On today's episode, we take you inside Salvation Army's 51st Annual Women of Dedication Luncheon. Hi, I'm Cindy Matalucci, and we're here at the Pulse on the Scene at the Manchester Grand Hyatt in downtown San Diego. We're here for the 51st Annual Salvation Army Women's Dedication Luncheon. This is one of the longest running charity events in San Diego. We've got 24 boutiques here to get your shop on. We've got a silent auction, a live auction, and a fabulous lunch where we are honoring 14 amazing women that have dedicated themselves to the community. We're going to give you the red carpet scoop, and we're going to take you inside. Are you ready? Let's do it. Year people are coming out for this.
It is incredible. The community of San Diego is just great to be able to support the programs and services of the Salvation Army. And of course, these ladies that do this, they're just amazing.
The monies raised from this event go to fund very well-needed programs for the Salvation Army. And so I'm involved in this organization for several reasons, and one of them is 83 cents of every dollar goes back to them. And also the fruits of your labor. You get to see people succeed. And the fact that you give a chance for someone to maybe get back with their kids again, to be part of a family. People get on the streets sometimes because they're one paycheck away from living on the streets.
What do you think of this event?
I really like it. It's a lot of fun, this reception. There's a lot of really diverse designers and things to look at and shop. I mean, these women dedicate a lot of their time to helping their communities, so yeah, it's nice to be here.
I'm here with Dr. Lily Chang. How are you?
Good, thank you. I am honored to be part of the Salvation Army Women of Dedication.
For more information on the Salvation Army and how to get involved in this organization, you can go to sandiego.salvationarmy.org. When we come back, we're mixing up the music with DJ Mandy Mixes. If you're looking for an amazing place to host your next event, the Springhill Suites in Oceanside is the perfect location. The ambiance and decor has a beach chic vibe, and the views of the beach and the pier are out of this world. What would make your event even better? Having Mandy Rodriguez DJ the event. Find out how she brings the fun to every event she does. We're here for DJ Mandy Mixes Back to Old School Dance Party, and tonight we're going to take you inside. Are you ready? Let's do it.
Welcome to the Old School Dance Party. Excuse me, back to Old School Dance Party. Please welcome DJ Mandy Mixes.
I'm here with the fabulous DJ Mandy Mixes, Mandy Rodriguez. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
So good. Now you have such a cool story. I know we're going to talk about your fabulous event tonight, but before we do, let's talk about how you got involved in being a DJ, because you loved music since you were little.
Yeah, when I was, the story goes back to when I was 3 years old. My uncle was getting married in my grandparents' backyard, and I was on that dance floor all night long, and when the DJ started tearing down, I threw it. Apparently I was never the one to throw a temper tantrum, but that one time in my life I threw a temper tantrum because the DJ was leaving. I wanted the music to go on all night.
Well, how did you parlay into being a DJ?
So probably going back, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, whenever my friends and family would have parties, I would pull out my laptop and my laptop speakers, or if they just had a CD player, and I was like, why isn't there any music? I want to, and then so I just took over and started, kept the music going and changing out the CDs or whatever, you know, and just making it happen. Yeah.
So let's talk about what you do for clients, because what you do is really spectacular. I mean, you do everything from, you know, the AV to the audio to the mixing and mingling. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
So Mandy Mixes is more than just about mixing the music and producing the music. It's more about mixing the crowd and just getting that energy going. So say you're having a cocktail party, or maybe it's a corporate event and maybe the people there don't know each other. I think music's the perfect icebreaker because, you know, you hear a song and you're like, oh my gosh, I love that song. Oh, me too, you know, and it just kind of brings that in, and then mixing up the mood and kind of just keeping people going and, you know, the energy going at events, whether it's corporate or a backyard birthday party.
And you can do a consultation too. So you do a consultation ahead of time with the client.
Yeah, and actually on my website I have a whole event questionnaire. So it goes through and you can answer all those questions. But if, you know, some people prefer to do it over the phone, and I can do that with them too. So, or in person, either way.
Perfect. And then where can people find out about you, and how do they book you for their events?
So if you go to mandymixes.com, kind of get the ball rolling, or you can just call me and we can start talking.
Perfect. And let's talk about your event tonight. We're here at Springhill Suites, which is the Marriott in Oceanside. Fabulous view. Love it. Gorgeous. I mean, couldn't be more breathtaking. Tell us about your event tonight.
Here we are. We're having a dance party, and we made it a girls' night out because we just, you know, we don't have to have boys on the dance floor with us. We want to just be able to do our thing and have a good time. Part of what we're going to do tonight, too, is I'm taking everybody on a musical journey. I'm going to start with the 50s, all my top 5 picks from the 50s through the 90s, and then it'll be like kind of like an all-request hour and just a dance, big old dance party. So it's going to be fun.
For more information on Springhill Suites, you can go to www.marriott.com and search downtown Oceanside. To find out how to book Mandy for your next event, you can go to mandymixes.com. That's going to do it for today's episode. We'll see you next time when we put our finger on the pulse of San Diego.